Hello everyone and welcome back to round 13 of our F1 2003 career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here at the Temple of Speed, the home race of Ferrari. Yes, we're back for the Italian Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live a few days ago from Belgium, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. With just 4 rounds left of the season, I should say. We're building up a little bit of momentum in the World Championship. Back-to-back victories at the Hungaroring and then last weekend as well. Means we've had 3 wins so far this season, but still 4 more races to go. 14 points in it between myself and Micheal Schumacher. David Coulthard still with an admittedly slim shot at the world title, and well, Raikkonen and Alonso are still technically, mathematically in with a shout as well. But yeah, I think it's going to be Ferrari battling for the Drivers' Championship this year. Constructors-wise, we have about a 130-point buffer now ahead of McLaren as well, so looking to try and wrap that up with a couple of races to spare if we possibly can. I don't believe we've wrapped up a Constructors' Championship so far in this game, so it would be nice to do that at some point as well. Get yourself subscribed if you're new. We're trying to hit 140,000 subs before F1 25 comes out. Also, if you want to help support us just a little bit more, you can click the join button. It costs just £1 a month. You get early access to all the videos, as well as a few other exclusive little perks. But yeah, but without further ado then, let's return to Monza. I want to win this race so badly. Well, here we are then, back in front of the team's home crowd. I'm sure all of the stands are Ferrari red right now. The Tifosi, there is nothing quite like it in the world of Formula 1, but we need to try and get a good qualifying effort today. And like I said, I think qualifying pace we might struggle a little bit here, as Jordan clearly have got the most straight line speed of anybody, but drifting the car through turn 1 and turn 2. Imagine if they caused the upset of the century this afternoon. That would be quite funny. Nope, immediately Kimi Raikkonen is going to try and deny them that. But yeah, my goal, a bit like Belgium last weekend, just qualify as well as we can, and then kind of see as to how the race pans out. They're really trying to risk it over the curbs through the first part of the lap. I think the biggest thing, of course, with just 4 races left, though, you know, is that we just try and make sure that we beat out Schumacher as reliably and as often as we can there, as now Alex Wurz in his Renault starting to set the pace as well. So definitely a lot of teams in the fight at the moment then, but well, at least my Ferrari is not one of them, a few tenths away. So we'll try and catch back up a little bit of time. Oh, through the chicane there, a little bit of a wobble on the way in. Very ragged on the way out, but somehow we gather it up and avoid ending up losing even more time there. 1 more corner to go then with the Parabolica. We're still just nestled inside the top 10 as Raikkonen will try and storm back through. Are we going to see Alex Wurz get his very first Formula 1 pole position on the run back towards the line? Yes, he is. Wurz on pole. We will only claim 8th yet again. Well, yet another pole position then for Renault in this series, but this time round it's Alex Wurz. And, well, as I've said before, Wurz actually replaces Nicholas Latifi in this game. So, technically, according to F1 2020, that is a Nicholas Latifi pole position, which is rather impressive. Raikkonen will line up second, though, just ahead of David Coulthard. I think if we absolutely nailed it, we could have been around Schumacher and Alonso. But, of course, as always, my focus is on race pace inside this game. Jordan, they have a huge opportunity at lining up 10th and 11th there as well to score some points, because I believe they are still tied with Minardi, aren't they? They're actually behind Minardi on countback right now, so even if they got 1 point today, that could do them a huge favour. But let's get into the race.
It's time for the Italian Grand Prix once again, here at the beloved and iconic Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. With the lowest downforce and drag of any circuit in the season, expect to see drivers making the most of the slipstream effect here today. We're 12 miles northeast of Milan for today's Grand Prix at a Monza circuit where we can expect top speeds of around 215 miles per hour. 11 corners on this 3.6-mile track, with 7 of those coming in the form of chicanes. And with a good slipstream and DRS open, there should be plenty of opportunity for some passing here today. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Mr. Monaco. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances, but what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another great race today.
Well, here we are then down on the grid, ready for the Italian Grand Prix. 27 high-speed laps ahead of us with the V10 singing. I really do think this must have been one of the most special places to go watch a Grand Prix back in the early 2000s, because just imagine how far away you could hear those V10s. But draped in Ferrari red then, the Tifosi here will be supporting two drivers. Neither of us had a particularly great qualifying, but hopefully we can deliver in the race. 5 red lights on the grid for the Italian Grand Prix. And it's going to be lights out, and away we go. They're trying to avoid the wheel spin off the initial launch. We've done alright there as Jarno Trulli trying to immediately apply pressure on our teammate. Montoya wants to defend the inside line in towards turn 1, and we just don't want to lose out in all of that. There is Schumacher really under pressure from one of the home race drivers, as we will get around the outside of Jenson Button off of turn 2. Olivier Panis there, disappointing qualifying for him after a podium last weekend, but he will move back up into the points straight off the start, as I believe that Vert, has held on the start there, as the McLarens just behind him, similar to what they did last year, going side by side into that chicane. So we've got yellow flags out immediately. Could that be a safety car? I think everybody has made it through without any problems. My guess was just a little bit of Constantino running up a bit further behind there, as Verts has bolted at the front of the order, and I was wrong. We got a safety car. Well, you can see Olivier Panis then already has gone for a spin down at the second chicane, so no idea what's happened to him. But Takuma Sato side by side with Zolt Baumgartner, and they're just going to kind of connect on the exit of the corner. Sato's going to get tipped into a spin. I think he's lost a rear wheel in all of that as well. A very, very strange accident. Maybe the Toyota's POV will give us a better idea as to what went down. Oh, yeah, the rear wheel went. That's what happened to Takuma Sato then. And, well, Jordan, one of their cars already out. Well, we're going to take a huge, huge gamble then at the end of lap 1 and try to get these tyres to the end of the afternoon. We're going to bolt on a set of hard compound here, because you would expect this circuit isn't going to be too bad for tyre wear. So maybe if we can undercut everybody, this could work out really well for us. But yeah, we're going to be down to 19th place then in this race. A huge, huge risk. But I want to do anything I can to win. Oh, someone's breaking down. Someone's breaking down under the safety car. Is that Toyota? Yes, it is. Is that Villeneuve? Clearly, Toyota can't handle the heat this weekend, and we got our second DNF of the day. We're making up places without even having to do anything right now. Well, the only thing that is making me a little bit nervous here is I thought we would be out ahead of Olivier Panis. We know how quick that Sauber is in a straight line, so if we struggle to get around him, we might struggle to get around some of the other cars here. We've got plenty of spare fuel, though, so we can afford to leave the car in rich revs for quite a while. But we need to try and get the jump on Olivier as soon as we possibly can then. Managed to jump him last weekend due to his tyre deficit. But are we going green flag racing? Yes, we are. Have we got any kind of jump on him? I think we've got a little bit of speed. We can see immediately, though, Mark Webber in the Jaguar struggling on the run back down towards turn 1. But everybody just reaches the same speed as Felipe Massa there tries to move out on me. We've got yellow flags out as well through the first corner, so no idea what's going on. Nick Heifeld's picked up a 5-second penalty. Somehow we've still been able to cleanly make the overtake on Massa, so up 3 spots then immediately. But yeah, these next few laps, though, are going to be absolutely critical in this Grand Prix. Yep, already on it, Mark. But yeah, we've just got to try and move our way through, as I'm pretty certain Jaguar, I could be wrong, but I thought they got a podium here in the IRL 2003 Grand Prix. I know they did one year. It's Barrichello trying to have a look for a move on Nick Heidfeld. Oh, I wanted to maximise the run, but unable to do so there. We should still get the speed over the pair of them down the next straight, and well, that should give you an idea as just the different power levels inside this game that is going on here. They're almost 4 wide as the Jordan is holding up both of your Hondas down in towards the final couple of corners. Oh, Fisichella, a little bit of contact. Got to be very, very careful. We could see someone lose a wheel there as Davidson tries to get the elbows out with Zolt Baumgartner. We'll have to give the place back up, as I'm pretty certain I overtook him off of the road. But yeah, Anthony Davidson already with a 5-second penalty in this Grand Prix, so not too sure he's managed that. Zolt Baumgartner, no idea where he's trying to go. Oh, big lock-up from Zolt. He's going to hit his teammate again. Even more contact between the two BAR cars. This is chaos early on, as have been so many races recently inside this series. But as we make our way then through Curva Grande, oh, Anthony Davidson trying to give me a real squeeze down in towards the next chicane there, but we cannot afford to wait behind these guys. Could also afford it not to have spun. That's going to cost us a few places again. And we are straight back down to the rear of the field. I think this is going to be one of those frantic races that we sometimes get inside this series. Felipe Massa, actually going defensive there in the Minardi car that time round. There's just still battles going on everywhere. Webber now trying to look past Nick Heidfeld. I would expect this again to be a pretty weak circuit for Minardi, but they did pretty well in qualifying last weekend. Almost could have had some points, but yeah, still those cars really struggling against everybody else. As try and have a look then around the outside of one. Maybe we can try and have a look around the outside of Webber and Heidfeld as well, but I mean, it's just, you can't really do a lot when the AI just dive bombing each other. So around the outside of Mark Webber, somehow we'll find the avenue. I guess we'll make that one work then. There's Barrichello now trying to fight with Heidfeld, but Ford's works team here battling with Minardi's at the rear of the field as we will try and find an avenue around the outside. They're 2 wheels on the grass, way too late in towards the corner there, and well, both of them will get back past me again then. Heidfeld down the middle, somehow making it work, but we are making a hash of it early on in this Grand Prix. Olivier Panis has bolted, and yeah, 20 laps to go. We are just not where we need to be. Hoping now we've left the Minardis and Jaguars behind just to battle with each other, because I think those two cars are a good 3 seconds a lap slower than basically anybody else here. Only other problem I've got is, yeah, that spin early on has actually done a lot more damage to the tyre than I expected it to. So we might actually be, you know, quite risky on the tyre, where by the end of the afternoon we're also running about half a second a lap slower than the McLarens. So even if we get ahead of them after they pit, we're going to have to defend a lot towards the end. Oh, Davidson's gone. Anthony Davidson going for a spin then, so him and Zolt Baumgartner clearly still not friends today. So a bit of an opportunistic look to the inside of Olivier Panis, but like, what is going on between those two? They've had a complete falling out here. I've seen them crash about 4 times so far this afternoon. There we go, a couple of cars starting to pit them. Raikkonen's already in. Don't say the AI are doing a 2-stop strategy again. That'll be the dumbest thing I've ever seen if they keep trying to do that at the moment. Tyre wear here, yeah, isn't fantastic, but it's also not that bad, as you would expect them to kind of get to the end of lap 12 at the earliest. But Olivier Panis then having a look to the outside of Zolt Baumgartner up in towards the second chicane. And is this where we're seeing all that contact? Yes, it is. You can actually see it's the car on the inside bobbles out over the curbing and actually understeers out wide into the other machine there. So to be fair, if that's exactly what happened the lap before, don't think you can really blame Zolt Baumgartner for it. But either way, 2 cars have crashed into him. I'm sure there's some side pod damage on that car. Monza is becoming a bit of a crazy race. There we go, Schumacher also in. Schumacher into the pit lane, so everybody looks to be making a stop then very, very early on here. But to be honest, that might actually work out all right for us, because I'm not convinced we'll get to the end of the race on this set of tyres, or if we do, they would be very, very slow. Baumgartner staying out. Ralf Schumacher there was running up in the points as well, as Michael Schumacher we will be out ahead of, so a few of the AI trying to make it work, but not all of them. So mixed up strategy here, even from the same tyre manufacturer as Baumgartner. Yeah, just ran into the side of me there, as I believe it's Jarno Trulli then leading at home. That's not ideal for us then. David Coulthard running kind of 6-7 tenths a lap faster than me right now, and he's already back on our relative. So if we've got a pit again today, which I think we probably will, it is going to be a very, very close fight between myself and the McLaren man here. Some of the AI have been able to make it work though. Jenson Button is one of them. I believe it's Jarno Trulli that's leading this race. Not too sure where Alex Wirtz is as well in all the chaos and commotion so far. But Toyota, they played their cards right. They could be on for a podium as well. So very, very weird one to kind of wrap my head around. Here we go then, Giancarlo Fisichella. That Toyota might not be the quickest thing in a straight line, but he's made the strategy work up to this point. Around the outside we will go though on one of the other Italian drivers. And, well, he'll try to defend, but we will make it work. It's Wirtz up in P2, so Renault might have already pit then in this Grand Prix and just pulled away from everybody else. Either way, Button only a second behind his teammate. Oh, immediately I'm going to be proven wrong. Jenson Button into the pits then. So Wirtz, and like I said, I'm pretty certain it's Jarno Trulli. Am I right? Yes, I am. So those two staying out trying to extend as far as they can, as Coulthard goes a second quicker than me. Raikkonen goes even faster than that. Go top 2 into the pit lane then, so they are definitely one-stopping this race. Jarno Trulli is going to relinquish the lead here, and we're going to be up into the top step. Admittedly only for a few laps. I want to extend this stint to kind of lap 19, lap 20. The only other thing I'm nervous about is if the AI opts not to pit. So we're going to kind of wait and see whether Coulthard, Raikkonen and Schumacher will dive in. Michael here is doing bits trying to make the strategy work. But if I'd known that the AI were going to two-stop here, it probably would have been worth staying out on our first set of tyres and trying to make the one-stop happen for ourselves. I was just so worried about trying to kind of undercut them and lose as little time as we could in the pit stops. That really have actually kind of screwed myself over a little bit in this Grand Prix. Raikkonen is still running some very fast lap times right now. Sorry, Coulthard even. There you go, another new fast lap of the day for him. But Raikkonen then into the pit lane, so we cannot afford to box this lap because we'll hold up Micheal Schumacher. Admittedly, he did that to me last weekend, but I don't want to return the favour because I want one of us to be within a shot of winning this race. Jarno Trulli now pops up on the relative 13 seconds behind, so we'd be hard pushed to get back to him by the end of the afternoon. There we go. Are we going to see Coulthard and Schumacher then into the pit lane? Coulthard's in, Schumacher isn't though. So is our teammate trying to make a one-stop happen then in this Grand Prix? A very, very long way to go on the second set of tyres, and that puts us under even more pressure. The only one I'm really worried about is Micheal Schumacher here at the moment. We cannot pit until he's pit. We've got 8 laps to go. The tyres are already getting towards puncture territory, but we cannot afford to risk it. Micheal Schumacher, I don't think he's pitting. I think he's played an absolute blinder of a strategy against those McLaren cars, allowed them to believe that he would also be two-stopping, but instead, he is trying to extend this second stint to the end of the afternoon. Our tyres are up over 54% wear now, so they are not going to be looking good by the end, but surely Schumacher's going to be in a similar situation. Well, I thought we were going to get a dogfight towards the end of the Belgian Grand Prix last weekend. That didn't happen, but today we are surely we're going to get one here. Micheal Schumacher and I, 12 seconds up the road from Jarno Trulli in P3. And here comes the German then, trying to get in the slipstream. Obviously, he'll have a little bit more speed, courtesy of that toe. As long as we just try and defend in towards turn 1 there, he's very, very good. He's got a lot of pickup off of the corners right now. But as long as we just keep hitting our marks, surely there's going to be nothing he can do. Tyre wear warning lights on. The team don't know if these tyres are going to make it to the flag. Well, it is really this final sector of the lap where we lose bags of time to Michael at the moment. And here he comes again then. Our teammate there gets right to my diffuser. Going to try and have a look to the inside, the outside line even. We've got to give him the space. We cannot afford to come together towards the end of this race here. But 4 laps remaining then, and your Ferraris side by side across the start-finish line there. Schumacher's made it through though, and up into the lead of the race. Will we be able to try to attack back though? Back into towards turn 1. We know it is now or never. We know this is our best shot at a win around this circuit, but Schumacher defends perfectly down in towards turn 1. We will have the slipstream advantage now, but will it be enough? The tyres, they just don't have any grip on them. Well, all we can hope is that maybe one of these lapped cars gives us a bit of a helping hand as well. I would assume it's one of the Jaguars of either Webber or Barrichello just up in the way. Yep, there you go, Mark Webber in that Jaguar car. There is Schumacher has a little bit of a stutter at the final corner, but he will get to enjoy a nice slipstream back in towards turn 1 as well then. So Schumacher actually pulling away from me, despite the fact we are in the slipstream there, as Mark Webber, is he going to get out of the way of the pair of us? No, he's going to try and go in the middle. What are you doing, Mark? Come on, get out of the way. In your slow as terrible Jaguar car there, and that just gives Schumacher a couple of extra tenths. This is not what we need. One more lap to go then. You can argue that Ferrari haven't played a blinder with the strategy today, but which of their cars is going to come out on top then? There's still one more lapped car that could help or hinder us here, but Micheal Schumacher still just hanging on. Hasn't won a race, let's not forget, since the European Grand Prix way back in about, what, round 6, round 7 of the World Championship? But what a way to turn it around and get back towards the top once again this weekend. Just after we've taken the lead of the World Championship, Schumacher, he has come back swinging, and as you can see, just really, really struggling to manage the tyre wear towards the end of the afternoon here. Wirtz trying to deny a second straight sour podium inside this series, but we are just looking at Rubens Barrichello up in front and praying he can do something to slow down Micheal Schumacher. Ferrari, I'm sure, will be happy with a 1-2 finish here. They want to let us race as best as they can, but they did tell us both that we cannot come together this weekend. Schumacher, though, down in towards the final few corners, just nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Got past me in the one chance he had, defended beautifully into the next corner, and we just have not been able to get another look in. Staggered that the tyres have held on towards the end of the afternoon as well. 75% on that rear. I normally wouldn't risk it this much, but one more corner to go then. Micheal Schumacher back on top for Ferrari here at the Temple of Speed. It's a pretty special moment for a Ferrari legend out of the final corner. Schumacher will win it. It's a Ferrari 1-2.
Not just victory today then, but the championship as well. What a spectacular season they've had. Congratulations to the whole team. And talk to me, what do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. They did a great job at getting the most out of their tyres without losing pace, something that's a very handy skill to have in modern day Formula 1.
So then, Ferrari have now moved out of sight and out of reach. It's another triumph for the Italian team as they claim the World Constructors' Championship.
Well, there we are then, and as you would have heard there, Crofty saying that we have wrapped up the Constructors' World Championship as well, and what a way to do it here at the Temple of Speed. The two Ferraris take the victory and an Italian joins them on the podium. That's pretty special there. Jarno Trulli in his Sauber hangs on ahead of both Renault cars. Coulthard ahead of Raikkonen. Montoya, Panis and Fisichella will pick up yet another point for Toyota as well there. Zog Baumgartner, Anthony Davidson, Ralf Schumacher ahead of Alonso down in P14, so no idea what happened to him. Villeneuve, that was Sato, wasn't it, who failed to see the checkered flag this weekend. Championship-wise, well, our gap at the top has been halved. 7 points now in it between myself and Michael. David Coulthard, though, still with a shot at the title, but yeah, I think it's going to be between myself and Schumacher, isn't it? Right towards the very end of the campaign there. Constructors-wise, you can see Ferrari, yep, 172 points clear with, I believe, 172 of it. No, we've only 3 races left, isn't there? So there's about 134 points available between now and the end of the campaign there. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourselves subscribed. Finally, we've won a Constructors' Championship inside this game, but now we want to do the double. We'll be back very soon, ready for Micheal Schumacher's home Grand Prix back at the Hockenheim.